But talk more about your transition from Flash animation to making video.
Yeah, so I borrowed my dad's webcam. I grew up with very, very little money, and even like getting my hands on pieces of tech to create this stuff was just insane for me. But my dad had some tech. He had a webcam, and I remember over at his house, I was like, "Are you using this thing? I never see you use this thing. Can I borrow it?" I brought it over to my place, never gave it back. But my friend Ian and I were just hanging out, and I had this new webcam, and I was obsessed with learning every single thing about the internet and technology and things that I could do with it, because I grew up with an agoraphobic mother. I felt very trapped in my house. If you don't know what that is, it's where you feel like your only safe space is, in a very confined area. So for me, or for my mom, it was within my house. And I had this lingering fear that I was going to be trapped in my house my whole life. And I felt like I didn't really have any resources. So, whenever I would see my computer in my room that my dad bought for me, I would see that. I was like, that is infinite possibilities.
That's my gateway.
Exactly, bringing it back. And I was like, I can do anything with that. All I have to do, like the only limit is my knowledge about this stuff. So I was teaching myself about all these things. So I wanted to learn how to edit. And I was illegally downloading some the childhood theme songs that I grew up with.
You're going to jail.
I know. And I'm okay with that.
That's
okay.
You
I've
wouldn't
accepted
download
it.
a car.
It was so funny because when those ads came out, I was like, but if I could duplicate it,
Yeah.
no one would know. I would duplicate a car.
That's what I'm saying. When I saw that ad for the first time, I was like, of course I would download a car. What the fuck are you talking about?
Right. It's not taking it. It's duplicating
Also,
it.
that song that they had
Kind
in
of
that
a
ad
jam.
was there was no reason it went that hard.
Yeah,
It was all grainy, like in the episode of A Wire. You know what I mean?
That aesthetic is like super back now too.
Yeah.
Like the Y2K aesthetic.
Yeah.
Like that shit's popping.
It's
We should make a
vintage.
trailer for our stream or our podcast, like you wouldn't duplicate a car.
Yeah, that's why you should. That's why you should
Yes,
go to.
I would.
That's why you should go to patreon.com/freeran.
Yeah.
To unlock.
I'm gonna support
some of the episodes.
I'm going to
Continue.
support that shit.
Yeah.
So I had just downloaded them and I was playing those songs, and I started like lip syncing to it, like over the top, just ridiculous. Because at the time there were some viral videos of people lip syncing to things, but they were like lip syncing to Backstreet Boys in like a very serious way, where they were kind of like it looked like they were doing karaoke. And I was like, what if we just kind of
Turn
use
this
that
to 11.
yeah, like that flash animation, over the top, kind of comic book brought to life style. And Ian and I did that, and I stayed up all night editing it, and we just laughed together making all those cuts. And it's so funny, even looking back at the editing software was so crude at the time. It was like there'd be black spaces between every cut because nothing would snap together, and it was like, that's good, put it up there, who gives a fuck.
Would you make it with like Movie Maker? Or?
Pinnacle, I think it was called Pinnacle.
Oh,
was the
okay.
editing software, something that does not
The only
exist
experience
anymore.
I had with editing software is Final Cut 7.
Oh yeah.
That's
No,
like-
I edited probably like 8 years worth of Smosh videos on.
Did you ever edit off tape?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh my God, that was the worst.
Yeah, and you have to do playback every single second. We recorded for like 2 hours, and you have to play it back and be like, cool, we'll come back in 2 hours, and it'll be loaded onto the
Footage will
computer.
be up.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
That was rough. And you could hear the tape playing because it was all an internal microphone.
Yeah, when I was in film school, they had digital at that point, but they're like, you got to learn tape because it's never going anywhere.
Oh, no, never.
This is gonna be a
Analog is here
staple.
forever.
Definitely.
Wrong.
So
Damn, we are fucking old, by the way.
we're so fucking
There's
old.
no way they still edit on tape now. In film
No,
school.
fuck no. They taught basically as like they thought
You
it
were
was
like the last class, probably.
well,
that learned it.
Yeah.
they thought it was the same as like still teaching photo students to use a dark lab.
Yeah.
They wanted you to have that analog experience of like having hands-on relationship with your tape, taking it off the tape, logging it, batching it, all that kind of shit. And that went away like moments after I learned it.
Yeah,
like
you
people
were literally
still-
the last class.
I feel like people still do that with photography, but with
with
film,
photography-
with internet video.
Photography, I think it's kind of, how can I explain it? It's almost like a yoga process where it's like very like people like to get in
Like
the
they
dark
meditate
room.
in the process.
They like to get in the dark room, and
Yeah.
well, the other thing is a lot of people treat their photos in very weird ways, where they'll like double expose it or do stuff like that.
There's cool tricks you can do.
Yeah, well, to the layman, it's like the coolest thing ever. But
Yeah.
to a guy who's ever used a dark room, it's like, oh, you spent 10 extra minutes on your photo. Cool.
Yeah, yeah. So at that time, there was no place to upload video. on the internet really at all, unless it's eBaum's World, which all they did was rip things off and put their URL huge on the screen. Not salty about that. Which they did. It's because we got so much shit for our videos when I tried to submit it there for a little bit, because I was like, that'd be sick to have our video hosted on a site where I didn't have to pay for the bandwidth. Because at that time, if someone viewed your content, especially video, you had to pay. It was coming out of your own pocket. So I got rejected from there. And then I had a personal MySpace page with like a couple thousand people on there. And I hosted these little lip sync videos that we would make on my own website. And I created this little copy paste box where it had instructions like Control A, then Control C, then go to your page, and then go to your MySpace editor and go press Control V. And I had all the instructions there. And when they did that, boom, it would go to their page and it would have the instructions pasted again. So that's how I made my own little viral chain. Yeah. And I was really awesome. I saw that the monthly fees were like $300 one month, and I had no money. So that's why when you look at those earliest videos, it says smosh.com, because I was hoping people would go to the site, click some of the ads. I think I ended up making like $50 or $100 profit in the end, but still, that wasn't bad. We put it all back into the videos themselves, but I did a Google search. I was like, clearly this is being viewed. There's no way to see where your videos were being viewed. All I could see that I was paying a shit ton of money at the time. And I found that which one was it? Our Mortal Kombat theme song, lip sync video was uploaded to the site called YouTube, and it had like 100 views, 10 comments or something like that. And I was like, we're doing it. I was like, oh shit, you can upload to this site and you don't have to pay for it. Yeah. They're paying for you to upload your video to their site. So then I messaged them. I was like, hey, we're going to upload this ourselves. Cool if you remove this? And they were like, cool. We removed the video and we uploaded ourselves. And a couple days later, we made the Pokemon one that you just mentioned, and that blew up and went to the front page of YouTube. And YouTube was getting all this traffic at the time. Everyone was writing news articles.
Page of YouTube.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Like
back then, it was like
having your fingertips on the pulse of the planet.
Every single person that went to YouTube.com saw that video on the front page.
Back then, too, like the front page was the highest viewed, right? Like there was no curation, so it was just like. Whichever video is the highest viewed, which they changed, I believe, very quickly.
They changed that in 2011. There used to be
I guess it's not very quickly then.
No, not very quickly. But at that time, it was actually curated somehow. They used to have
that was the best.
At the bottom of each video, it had a little link that said recommend for front page. Yep. And I spammed the shit out of that because I was a website designer at the time. I knew that sometimes there were flaws in these types of systems where
I was going to abuse them.
And I wanted to see what would happen if I did it. I don't know if that was why. It might have worked. I like to think it worked.
Otherwise, how much did you fucking spam that shit?
I sat there for an hour. I was like, this might work. This might work. And I don't know if it did, but it was on the front page. And shit.
You're like, this video's been recommended 1 million times.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have that many views. How did this happen? People really must have loved it.
There was no checking or anything. I don't know, man. But I like to think maybe that was the reason I had any career. Was sitting that 1 hour of work.
That's now canon.
Sure. That's it.
Go getters. Sigma Grindset music enters the room. You know, boom, boom. Yeah, you rose early and you rise then grinded. Ground. I don't fucking know.